Yo, they're fucking normal.
Yeah, it's okay.
This song sucks.
Do you know the song? You're such an idiot.
I don't know the song. It does
How do you
suck.
not know the song? Internet, would you tell this clown what song this is, please? You really don't recognize it? Were you never a child?
I'm still a child, dude.
That's true. You look like one. That's what a hint. Doing time on the rock. Man, you're an idiot. It's San Francisco Rush 2049, the rock stage.
It's not the Rude Sandstorm.
Yeah, that's it.
You got it, Rick.
Nice one, Ricky. Anyway,
Well, it's not even Sandstorm. It's Sandtorm.
what's up, Internet?
Thank you for reading the chat.
Whatever, dude. That's a great song. That was a great game. One of my favorites ever. San Francisco Rush 2049. Anyway,
Whatever.
Shut up. How's the internet doing? It's Thursday. You're watching ATP Live. I'm joined by Rip and Ricksta this week. How you guys doing?
All right.
You're supposed to say doing good.
Why am I supposed to say that?
That's what you always say. Doing good.
Maybe I'm not doing good.
Uh-oh. You having a bad day, amigo? What's the matter?
No, I'm actually doing all right. All right's all right. All right.
All right, if you say so, man.
Anyway, so before we get started, I have to give a shout out. So my ex-girlfriend texted me happy birthday before the show, and she was like, hey, you know what? You should give me a shout out on your show. I'm going to watch it. And I was like, all right, I'll do that. And then she's like, but don't do it in the bitch calling section. So I would never do that, of course. Shout outs to my ex-girlfriend, Jeanette. I have nothing but good things to say about her. So shout outs to her. Anyway, moving on. So
Can I shout her out in the bitch calling segment or no?
yeah, I guess you can. Yeah, that could be your bitch calling if you want. She didn't say anything about you guys.
Girlfriend that we know.
I don't know. Oh no. That's not the one you know.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that one's definitely gonna be in the bitch calling section. That one for sure. No, this one's legit. This one's legit. Anyway, first topic at hand. Our amigo Bloodhawk put up a video on his YouTube channel, which is Bloodhawk TR, and basically he's talking about the players and the pools in this weekend's tournament, the Fall Classic. Now, I don't know if you guys know, but there was all this hubbub about tweeting and all this bullshit to get like extra prize pots in this tournament. So it got a lot of publicity. It was kind of a big deal. And I think because Tekken got second in that poll, it's getting $1,000 prize bonus by, I hope I don't fuck this up, maybe One Frame Link. Am I wrong about that?
Sounds right. Sounds
okay.
right.
So they're putting in $1,000 pot bonus, but that's whatever. Who gives an F about that? But hold on, El Presidente's not on the cam. Anyway, who gives an F about that? What I give an F about is, half of these players that go to these tournaments, I don't know who the fuck they are. Fucking Speed Bone Killer Kicks or whatever the fuck their names are, and I don't know who they are. So this video is really actually a really smart idea, because what he does is he looks at the pools on their website and he talks about who to look out for in each pool. And then if it's someone like important, like for example, Fab, I think is in the same pool as Ace Unlimited, and those guys played in the grand finals of the first Tekken Tag 2 major. So, this is the kind of thing that in this video he's kind of showing people who may not remember or may not know. And it's really interesting. I think it's a great idea. I think everyone should check that out. Again, on Bloodhawk YouTube. I don't know how it works. Bloodhawk TR on YouTube. So you'll find it. Just look for that. Fall Classic Bloodhawk TR. I think it's a great idea. I think everyone should do that for games that they support. It's just a good idea. I mean, I don't know if you guys have anything to add to that, but I wish I thought of it. And I'm planning on doing stuff like that in the future. It's just so smart because, half the time when you watch a tournament, the only people you give a fuck about, especially in games that you don't necessarily watch, are the people that you know the story behind. Like, if they played each other before, or if it's a rivalry, or maybe there was a grand final in the past that they were in, it really makes a big difference. So I think that's dope. You guys got anything to add to that shit?
Not really. I think you covered it pretty well.
Well, yeah, actually, I looked at the list though, and I didn't see. Well, I don't know if because I haven't watched that video yet, but I don't know if JDCR is supposed to be in there. Is he?
I heard that
He's
he
supposed
won
to
a
go,
trip
right?
there. Yeah.
Yeah, but his name's not on any of the pools, so he could be. If he is going, he's not in any pool, so it's like, he can just get randomly added into someone's pool and fuck everything up.
Yeah, he could totally fuck everything up. Then this guy needs to make a new video. So, anyway,
They're saying he isn't going.
why? I wonder why. He won a trip. That was
Probably,
the. Go ahead.
it's probably the same reason he didn't go to VXG. He had scheduling with what's the Tekken Strike show in Korea, so he couldn't make it.
But I mean, this is like I heard this was the reason he didn't go to Evo. I heard he won his ticket and entry and all this jibber jabber, and he's just not gonna go. That's whack.
Yeah, I mean he didn't go to the Caribbean, dude.
Yeah, but I mean that one was
It's the Caribbean.
janky, dude. I don't blame him. If I was a little Korean
All
dude,
right.
I'd be scared as fuck. Like to go to
Dude,
the
no,
beach.
no. Dude, he went to Venezuela.
Okay,
All
yeah, he's brave. That sounds rough, dude. I don't know how it is over there, but I'd be hesitant, perhaps. But yeah, he unfortunately is not going. That's whack. But yeah, it's gonna be a legit tournament because, especially after watching this video, because there are gonna be a lot of heavy hitters, a lot of people to keep your eyes on, and Tekken Tag 2 is such a unforgiving game that you're just gonna see people get slaughtered, and their weekends are gonna be ruined. That's the best part of watching the game to me. Just like seeing the thing that frustrates me about the game happen to other people is the best part to me. So that's gonna be tight. Make sure you watch that. Who the fuck is streaming it? Do you know? Anybody?
Ooh, that's a good question.
No idea.
I mean, it might
in
be
the
get
chat
some
now?
time on like Spooky's some channel or something, but I don't know who's streaming the entire event at all. Actually,
Yeah, I'm not sure if Spooky's gonna be streaming Tekken or what, but yeah, I mean, dude, just look on Twitch and you'll find whatever fighting game stream is doing well that weekend, and you can watch it. It's not gonna be that hard to figure out. It looks like
Spooky and Funky P.
excellent. So Spooky and Funky P, make sure you check that out. Another thing I wanted to talk about, right? So I don't really follow this whole esports thing, and from what I can see from my perspective, certain games are just really heavily favored among the whole esports scene. It's like certain games and certain genres are extremely popular, while other genres are just totally unpopular. And it makes me wonder, because earlier today when I was looking for the song for the beginning of the show, I ended up just finding videos of people playing San Francisco Rush 2049, and they were like the best players doing like number one first place runs of these stages. And I was watching it and I could not take my eyes off the screen. First of all, I was just like totally loving watching this, right? And I was thinking, what is this like? I'm really entertained here. What is this like? It's kind of like watching the luge. You guys ever watch the fucking luge? The Olympic sport?
the ice.
Is
Yeah,
that
that
like an
luge.
ice skateboard you lie down on?
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're
Well,
watching
when they crash and it's like, oh god, they're dead.
Yeah,
They're
but
definitely
it's
dead.
yeah, they don't ever crash, rarely, and when they do, they die, which is why it's such a big deal. But I mean, watching this to me, it felt like watching something like the luge, where the guy is just—it's so intense. He's going so fast, and if he fucks up, it's over. So I could see a crowd of people wanting to watch this. Definitely more than a crowd of fucking people watching the luge. That shit's dumb, But what's the deal? Why don't people, like, let's say MLG, why doesn't MLG want to put something like Gran Turismo? Or why isn't there support? Forget fighting games. I understand fighting games are a niche community. There's a lot of growing to be done. But, dude, racing games? That shit's huge, man. The demographic is gigantic. Or games like FIFA or Madden. Well, why are those games not involved here? FIFA is a fucking huge game. I was watching some random, like, Korean dude streaming FIFA the other day. It was like 7,000 people watching it. And it was like a soccer. I don't even know what's going on. Soccer. So, I mean, what the fuck, So, a lot more about it. Both of you guys play League of Legends. You guys are familiar with that shit. So, what do you guys think is the deal? Why is it that esports so naturally favors certain genres over others when the luge is running rampant in the real-life Olympics? What is the deal with that? Rip, do you have anything to add? What's the deal with this?
I think primarily with both Blizzard and StarCraft and Riot and League of Legends, one of the key factors is publisher slash developer prize support and tournament structure for their games. Like those companies both supported their games and the tournament prizes. So I think that's one big part of it probably. Separately for Madden and I don't know about FIFA, but I know for Madden there is a pretty big tournament scene. There is a lot of money involved. When we were working at Prima actually for the Tekken guide, I went out just with some of the Prima guys for like a GameSpot tournament or whatever, and I met their Madden guys who did the Madden Prima guide, and those guys, they had been to tournaments with like six figures in it as well. So I know there's definitely support for it, but for whatever reason, it's not part of like MLG and broadcast. Here on Twitch this coming Saturday, big Madden tournament or something like that. I don't know why that is the way that is.
Yeah, it seems peculiar. Ricky, you have anything to comment on that? I mean, you're more familiar than I am too. What do you think?
Well, I think definitely the developers, like helping running the scene in tournaments kind of make it a big deal. Dota, I mean, that Dota 2 tournament that just happened, international whatever, that was like a $2 million prize pool. The first place, no, not even prize pool. First place, I think, got $2 million. So it's like, it's almost like a real job for these people. And then, a lot of people can just play Dota, pick it up, be whatever at it, and actually kind of get the game, I guess. I don't know if it's the same with like a racing game. Like if you were to watch a racing game, you might not understand the small things that the players are doing to gain an advantage.
Way.
No,
There's
hold on.
Way. Go ahead.
I was at E3 a couple years ago, and they had a tournament thing to win a car, like a BMW.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I was there at that E3.
Mm-hmm. Right, and like I didn't know about the tournament. I missed the tournament, but like I was watching like the finals go on. And what they did was they had each player come out separately, and the other ones were in the back room, so they didn't get to see what the time was of the other player. Wow. They just knew that they had to go as fast as they could. It was a time trial. And so it was just crazy, like watching them like under pressure, like, oh my god, I'm gonna spin out, and he feels like he lost because he spun out once, but the other guy spun out like 3 times or whatever, So it was interesting and fun to watch anyway. I thought.
I don't know. I don't find NASCAR very appealing, but I'm not from some fucking Okie flyover state or whatever.
You always have to be dueling banjos. You don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, I mean, I think. Partially, you're right, but how could you not want to... Okay, watching Gran Turismo and NASCAR and stuff like that is one thing, but there are games that are fun to watch, like Rush 2049. That shit is a blast to watch. I mean, if someone's good at it, I don't know. I don't understand it. I mean, these games have been around for just as long as StarCraft and Warcraft and all that stuff. Why is it that the esports phenomenon captured these genres? That's the thing. And, tournament support for the games, I feel like had to have come secondary. Like the tournament scene had to exist for the developer to be like, oh, wait a minute, this might be some dope shit that we should put some effort into. And if that is the case, let's say that is the only like driving thing that causes these games to be popular among the esports umbrella, then why the fuck doesn't everyone else just go, oh shit, let's just throw some esports money at it? And Namco could put it over there with, whatever the fuck they have. StarCraft 2 or whatever, I almost fucked that up. StarCraft 2, I got it. Like they could put Tekken with that game if developer support in a competitive environment were all that were necessary. I mean, what do you think? You think these, let's say Namco, right? Just because it's the one I care about the most. So let's say Namco, do you think they're like just foolish if it's just developer support? Do you think they're morons for just sticking with business models like Snoop Dogg instead of giving away $1 million? What do you think? What are your guys' thoughts, Ricky?
Well, I've said this before, but Japanese companies are very by the books. They don't really take too many risks, and you gotta remember in Japan, tournaments, you don't get money for tournaments, so it's they don't that whole concept to them is literally foreign.
That's not true though. I don't want to interrupt, but they do have a lot of tournaments that are for money, especially now.
Well, yeah, but it's not big though. It's like maybe like $1,000
right.
as max. Like the thing about the some of the games like Dota and League of Legends, these games are made almost for tournament play, because at first Dota was just a Warcraft mod, right? It's like it wasn't really,
Right.
part of Warcraft. Some guy just made it, put on, like just threw the game out there and it got popular and it blew up. And then people started realizing, oh, this game is actually fun and competitive. And then people started taking things from that and realizing that it was a tournament style game, and
Yeah, genre.
yeah, and I think StarCraft, Blizzard. I don't know if Blizzard made the original StarCraft with that intention, but StarCraft 2 was. I'm sure that was like a really big intention of theirs to make that game, tournament friendly. So I think the developers obviously have to help blow the game up, but they also have to be willing to accept the fact that their game is going to be the game is supposed to be a tournament style game. I don't know if the Asian developers really know that. I still feel like they're just making it, throwing it out there, and then that's that.
Well, but I mean, look at Tekken. They're throwing a global tournament sponsored by Namco. They've had nationals for every Tekken. They've had a world tournament for multiple Tekkens. I mean, it's obvious that they think their game is competitive and a tournament game. That's clear to me. So, I mean, I wonder what the deal is. I wonder why they don't just push really hard at getting their game just a ton of face time, you know? Why can't that be their new business model instead of Snoop Dogg? It might be a better idea in this day and age, you know?
It could be. This reminds me. There was a game which came out within the last 2 years. I don't even remember what it was, but before the game even came out, they announced a $1 million tournament for it. It was a game that people hadn't played before. I want to say it was Smite, but I really don't know if it was.
I thought it was a
Um,
Call of Duty. Wasn't it a Call of Duty
no, no, no,
Black
it
Ops or
wasn't.
some
It
shit?
wasn't a game that had big publisher support or anything. It was a
Oh,
game
really?
that you really hadn't heard about much of. But because it had all this money, they were trying to just like cash in. Like, look, we're gonna throw this $1 million tournament. All you guys play our game, and you can win this $1 million.
Yeah.
It's kind of like an easy sell. But I can't remember the game for the life of me now, so I don't think it was a good sell. But for a company like Namco who has like a Tekken franchise, where it's already built a player base, et cetera, I think it might work better in that sense
Yeah.
if they were to go that route.
I mean, I've said it so many times, but they have wasted a lot of money before, marketing and stuff like that. I mean, I just think it would be a better allocation in this day and age. And maybe, I don't know, maybe they could pay like Twitch or one of those types of companies to push their game forward. I mean, who knows if that's a possibility? I mean, I don't know.
Well, I don't think Namco looks at the tournament scene and sees money there, because there's not much revenue coming in terms of Tekken now, right? So it's like
Yeah.
why put in money into it and not get anything in return except for maybe a couple thousand people watching a stream and maybe having a couple hundred buy the game. It's like there's really no revenue outside of them from the initial buying the game. Like everything else outside of that is non-existent.
Yeah, but you have to keep in mind, again, it costs $1 million to get Snoop Dogg in your game. $1
Well, I
million.
mean, they thought at that time they must have thought, hey, this was a good investment.
I
I'm
mean,
not. I mean, then everyone makes mistakes, and that was just a $1 million mistake.
that's a big fucking $1 million mistake. Yeah, really. I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying definitively like it would have been a better idea. Who knows? Maybe the Snoop Dogg idea on paper was a good idea. Maybe because when the Snoop Dogg thing came out, they got like a spot on some news show. Like for free advertisement. Like, oh, this just in, Snoop Dogg gives a fuck about Tekken, and it was like a big deal. Free advertisement, bing bang boom. So, but then on the other hand, I mean, how much of a shit do you give about Snoop Dogg in Tekken as opposed to the free advertisement you would get all over the place when you have $1 million tournament coming up? So I don't know. I would say it's arguable. None of us are experts in marketing, but I would
course.
say it's arguable which is a better allocation of money. I don't know. I just think it would be cool. I think it would be cool if the developers, if that's what it is, if developers supported their game in that way a little more to kind of force the fans of esports, force them to watch it. Because, Olympics fans, right? They watch sports, but they don't necessarily like fucking all of them, like curling or fucking whatever. I don't know what they have, spelunking. I mean, these things are whack, but you still watch them because it's like sick. The Olympics are on. That shit never happens. So perhaps you could use the same logic and be like, I don't normally like racing games that much, though I can appreciate them. But when I see someone who's the best fucking San Francisco Rush 2049 player in the world tearing the shit out of this fucking course, I mean, it's like super dope. I mean, I will watch that. I will watch it, and I will watch a Doritos commercial after it. You know, it's like,
Well, the thing about the Olympics, like how people watch it, I don't think it's mainly because of the sport or anything. It's the Olympics, the way they televise it. It's there's a lot of storytelling before like they show you this Canadian dude sweeping the fucking floors or something, and all of a sudden he's a curler. It's like you get sucked in through that. It's like there's no real. You don't give a shit about curling.
works-
But you give a shit about this Canadian guy that's a fucking janitor at the school, and now he's a professional
funny.
curler.
he's
It's
mopping the bathroom, and he's like, he finds his talent at curling. I like that.
Exactly, dude.
I
It's
like
like
that.
like people like that's how I view the Olympics. Like I remember hearing a stat a long time ago about how the Olympics, like compared to other sports in America, like the Olympics brings in a bigger draw for women. Because women, I guess they get more involved with the storylines or something. I don't know, but it's there's that, and then there's like football and basketball, which doesn't bring in as much women viewers as the Olympics do.
But think about
So-
this, dude. I mean, that's exactly what we were talking about earlier. Like if you have these multiple games, you're going to get a larger demographic. Like I said, these Madden games or these racing games, they cover a much bigger demographic. Dudes, women, but old people. I mean, I know a lot of old ass fucking guys, fathers of like 20-year-old kids that are really into Madden or really into racing games and stuff, and these are games of skill, and though we're not huge fans of them, I'm just as much of a fan of like Gran Turismo as I am another game that I don't really play that much. But these games are sick to watch good players play them. By the way, I didn't ask you, Rip, but in that tournament at E3, were they sitting in a car to drive?
No, they were not.
So it was on a pad.
It was on whatever controller. I think it was on a pad. Yeah.
Wow, interesting. I mean, I don't know. And the story thing that you're talking about, Ricky, that could easily be done. That's just like what Bloodhawk was doing in this video that I was saying is so badass. I mean, all you got to do is have like a quick segment beforehand talking about how Rixta, doesn't know how to drive at all, gets in car accidents all the time, and parks in front of driveways and gets his ass towed. But then when he steps into Gran Turismo,
bust balls, dude?
boom, 24-hour Tokyo drifting. It would be an interesting story. Then the viewer is going to be like, wow, this guy, he fucking can't drive, and then boom, Laguna Seca in perfect timing. Laguna Seca, that's the hard fucking stage, so
That's the complete opposite of the truth, except for the car getting towed.
so it's 100% truth.
And he sucks in video game racing.
Yeah,
Yeah, video game racing, no bueno, except for maybe Ridge Racer. That game was sick.
Dude, they were all sick. Sega Rally. I mean, these games were cool, and the new games are cool too. It doesn't even matter what game it is, Forza or whatever. These developers, they have something here. I think all they have to do is turn their game into something that people want to digest as an esport. I mean, I don't see what Go ahead. What were you gonna
No,
say?
I was just gonna say it's interesting because like if you were talking about the Olympics and there's like multiple games there, what I mean, like all these different types of sports, right? So everyone watches it anyway because there's so many things going on. And for most of these gaming things, like say the international with Dota 2, it's just Dota 2. The League of Legends has their own thing, it's just League of Legends. And if Tekken were to do their own thing, it would be just Tekken. So I think in that kind of a scenario, you're not really going to get as much eyeballs on it as if you had all games at the same place. You know what I mean? Like, this is the Olympics of video games. Like if you watch competitive video games, check this out, and then you see the best players in all of those different things go on at the same time. That might work a little better. And I think like in terms of Tekken, like the way I see that like in a realistic sense happening is if like Tekken wants to throw $1 million tournament, let's do it at an MLG. Usually as far as I know, they pay their way into an MLG anyway, right?
Yeah.
So why not put like $1 million, like tell MLG like, look, we're going to give you all this publicity just by having our thing there. You know what I mean? So we don't have to pay you to have it there, right? Because you're going to get $1 million tournament to show at your event, whatever, necessarily. You know, however they would have to work that out. But then anyone who's watching, like, say, Halo or whatever else they got going on, StarCraft 2, they can be like, yo, there's a $1 million tournament over there. Let's watch that right now.
Precisely. It's fucking 20 feet away and there's $1 million being given away. Someone good must have come, you know? Boom.
Yeah.
And you're watching some high level, whatever the fuck it is. It doesn't have to be Tekken. It could be Ridge Racer or FIFA or whatever, you know? So, I don't know. I think this is something that probably will happen in the future. The only thing that I don't like about this whole concept, like in the future, the games will make it. All the racing ones, all the sports ones, I predict that will happen. But my only fear is that by that time, I feel like fighting games will be so fucking shitty that it will not even be like something I give a fuck about. You know, like the direction it's going in, fighting games are gonna. By the time fighting games are a true esport, they're gonna be shitty as hell. But anyway, what were you gonna do about?
I've been doing a lot of research about fighting games lately, and I was looking at like the 1990s, basically when the fighting boom basically happened, and kind of figure out what happened after that. And I was reading through Wikipedia, and this is an excerpt I have from it. It says, in retrospect, multiple developers attribute the decline of the fighting game genre to its increasing complexity and specialization. This complexity shut out casual players, and the market for fighting games became smaller and more specialized. Furthermore, arcades gradually became less profitable throughout the 90s due to the increased technical power and popularity of home consoles, which may or not be true. But it was interesting to see that back in the 90s, people thought, you know, hey, you know, the fighting game genre is decreasing because of increased complexity and specialization, which is kind of how I see it going right now. Say, like, Street Fighter 4 hit the boom, you know, and now games are getting more complex and more specialized. You know, all the other fighting game companies are coming back, and it's going to reach this boom again, and I feel like it's just repeating history. Might be a separate topic.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of sense that as well. It's like ups and downs. I feel like right now we're in a dip, you know, like there isn't a new big game. It's still Street Fighter 4. It's still Marvel, and you know, I mean,
Still real Marvel?
yeah,
Was that
real Strill, whatever. But yeah, I mean, it just seems like right now it's a little weird. And this also goes for just the simple concept of arcade sticks. Because, you know, I'm sitting at work and I'm just, you know, I'm in the middle of an arcade and this dude comes in and he wants to play Street Fighter 4 and I give him the stick. I'm like, yeah, it's $1 for 30 minutes. He wants to play it on console to go to practice mode. And I'm like, here you go, man. Here's your stick. He's like, he's looking at the arcade stick like it's a fucking alien. What is that, dude? I'm not all about that, man. Let me just get a pad. So that's where it's going, man. If the arcades are dead, why the fuck do we need arcade sticks? What they're going to start doing is they're going to start developing games to be played on different peripherals. More, I mean, look at Injust Ass, you know, which is something I want to talk about in a minute. But the game is almost designed for a pad. There's no complex motions whatsoever, and it requires all kinds of buttons on the shoulders and shit. So it just really is gonna be weird because, like I said, by the time fighting games are ready to be an esport, fighting games aren't gonna be fighting games anymore. They're gonna be some weird, you know, ass baby that came out of the fighting games that we like's ass, you know, and that's basically what's gonna happen, which is shitty to me. So basically, what I'm hoping is someday they pick up San Francisco 2049, and I don't even have to give a shit about it. Boom, I'll be a player of that shit, Tokyo Drift the whole time. But the transition into Injust Ass, which is something I wanted to mention very quickly, I'm pretty surprised. I guess I shouldn't be, but I've said it before. I'm not playing that game as of right now because I know that there is a final forthcoming patch that is going to be very big. It's going to change a lot of the tier list. Characters are supposed to be nerfed. Lots are supposed to be buffed. And I personally am thinking, why the fuck am I going to waste my time practicing a game that's going to change, right? So I thought I was a minority. But I'm looking at the tournament turnouts, like yesterday at Wednesday Night Fights, and Injustice is looking pretty rough right now. A lot of people aren't entering it, and that was a big ass game a couple weeks ago. And it's not because of after Evo either, because even after Evo, it was pulling a good number of people.
Mm-hmm.
So what that's telling me is that this move from NetherRealm Studios to announce that there is a final patch coming out, not put a release date, and have Ed Boon just talking all this shit on Twitter is a bad move. Because it's just like one of those situations where you meet a girl at the bar and you get her phone number and you know you're not going to go out with her until the next weekend. You got to text a couple of jokes in there so she remembers how funny you are, or else she's going to forget all about it. So all these people that aren't playing Injustice, they're going to forget about how they give a shit about Injustice in the first place. You know, after 2-3 weeks of not playing it, I could see people like P. Gorath or even Rixta or myself thinking, well, you know, I didn't play it for 3 weeks and now I don't even really give a shit anymore. Instead of like giving us a release date and giving us more information, so it's not something that you lose your fan base over. I foresee a lot of people will come back, and I know a lot of people aren't playing right now for this reason, but I think they could potentially lose part of their competitive scene because of this. You know, what do you guys think about that game now, and does that have any bearing on why you guys aren't playing it competitively at this moment? Rip?
I am not playing it at the moment for pretty much that exact same reason. I feel like there's going to be so many changes to so many characters that, like, I'm not going to really learn experience. And since my main character is Superman and he is going to get mainly nerfed, like, I mean, it's going to happen. They haven't announced yet, but it's going to happen. I mean, they're saving the best for last like they always do, right?
Right.
So when that happens, I mean, my character who I've been practicing with wouldn't even apply the same way against characters who I'm fighting and learning strategies for that won't apply either. So, you know, whatever. I'm just going to wait for them to release it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that you're right. I think that it can hurt the player base. And I think that right now, the way it's coming out or the way that they're announcing all of the updates, etc., is keeping people at least interested. But I think a release date would have helped a lot more.
Yeah, I completely feel that way as well. What do you think, Ricky?
Someone just called me autistic on the chat. That's pretty funny.
That is really funny. I would have gone with
playing
Down
the
syndrome
game.
myself. Anyway, go on.
I haven't been playing the game pretty much like a month before Evo. You know, I only played it at Wednesday Night Fights and at Evo. I think that might have been the last time I ever touched the game. I can see the whole patching thing. I mean, it's already showing that it's losing competitive.
Yeah.
The competitive drive, and you know, it's once you lose somebody, it's hard to bring them back again. You know, like even though I know this new patch is going to come out, I have no desire to play the game because
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, go ahead.
There's nothing there for me to make me go like, oh, you know, like that game, it sounds sick again. You know, like I got to go back and play it. Like I haven't read the patch notes because I don't care about the game at all now, and I think, you know, I don't know if the patching thing is good or bad, but they have to. I don't know. It's like it's either they make a big patch once and keep it like that, or you know, constantly patch it. But it's tough, man. I don't know how patching and fighting games work yet.
Yeah, and it's been happening for a while too.
Yeah, because it doesn't. Because you know, for like the reason why you're not playing is because of the patches. For me, I don't give a shit about the patches, and I think I think the Injustice community is kind of like either one side or the other.
Yeah,
you know?
but the thing is, even if you're on my side where I'm not playing it because of the patches, release dates could change all of that. Like if I knew the new patch was coming out, let's say next Tuesday, I would start playing it right now. You know, I would brush up. If I knew it was coming out maybe in a couple of weeks, perhaps I might still pick it up right now. But as of right now, I feel like it could come out whenever. And these little teaser things they're doing and these, you know, it's really unimpressive. I would be way more impressed with a release date and then when it hits, a nice big juicy list of patch notes. And that would be sick. You know, it would be like I would maintain interest in the game because I would feel like they're maintaining interest in me. You know, they care about the competitive scene. And I know they do, or else they wouldn't be patching the game at all. They would just say, hey, go fuck yourself, everybody. 4, 2, 3, breath. Go watch Superman the movie. You know? So, obviously, they care about us. So, if they wanted to care about us, they could do it in a better way, I think. It's not bad. I don't mind the patching. Patching is cool. Even if you do it, If their vision was releasing a game and then fixing it every 2 weeks until it's fixed, if that's their vision, it's fine as long as they are open and clear. Because manipulating a product that has already been purchased and inserted into your PS3, manipulating it without like just warning and just boom, it changed, download this patch, that's offensive to me. I feel like it's an invasion of my personal having fun space. I don't like that shit. But anyway, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for that. I know you said you don't give a shit, Rixta, even when it comes out, but I'm interested and I'm waiting. And I think, Rip, you said you're going to play it as well, right?
I'm definitely gonna try it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a question then. So would you rather prefer it to be kind of like how Street Fighter 4 does it, or it's like not patch? It's like instead of a patch, it's kind of just like an add-on,
Super
an add-on,
injustice.
and an add-on.
Yeah, basically, I mean, the way I see it, Street Fighter 4 is doing their series of patches the way Tekken does it, except Tekken stops at one major patch. They just, the next year, come out with a new one. And I've always said that the way Tekken does it is the best way to do it. And the proof is in the pudding because they keep coming out with trash games and then making it into a great game. Like Tekken 5.0, boom. Dark Resurrection is considered one of the best Tekkens ever. And then we had Tekken 6, piece of shit, Hopkick Festival, and then boom, Tekken 6 Bloodline Rebellion, one of my favorite Tekken ever, and that was an update. So, that says a lot. I think that's a good way to do it. I think you gather all your resources, information, data from watching top players, everything, and you make another good product that just it stands the test of time until you decide it's time to make another product. So essentially, they're both the same. The Street Fighter method and the Tekken method are both the same. However, the Tekken method, they just give up on it after the first one. Perhaps that's because they're already going for the next Tekken, and perhaps that has a lot to do with why the game kills itself all the time. I don't know. This is all going to be business. I mean, look at the business model here. Street Fighter 4, everyone already owns it. Some people own it twice, So are they going to buy it a third time? They might be a little worried about that. People over at Capcom might be thinking, what the fuck, is this even a good idea? How many people are going to buy this same old game again? So it's a matter of confidence. It's a matter of vision and, shit that I don't know anything about, basically. But I don't necessarily disagree with that method. What do you think, Rip? Do you have any comments on that?
I feel like I'm starting to prefer the Street Fighter method of patching. Because this Injustice patch that's coming out feels like it's so significantly different than the original version that I almost wish it just had been. Like, I wish the original version came out, and now I can buy this version with 8 more characters, for $20 more or whatever.
Right.
If you bought all the DLC so far, it's probably like, I don't even know, $25-$30 anyway, right? So if you had just paid for all the characters and gotten all the patches at once, that would have been fine. And because they have the ability to patch doesn't mean that they need to patch.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have let things play out and just patch things that were like broken, like infinites or something like that. I think those kind of things definitely need a patch. I don't know other things I'm trying to figure. I mean, maybe like Deathstroke's guns. Maybe that didn't really need a patch. Maybe it did, but I'm not really sure at this point. So I think what I'm getting at though is that I prefer the Street Fighter model of release updates.
I completely agree. In hindsight, if Injustice came out, the vanilla original pre-patched version, if that came out and was being played and all the catastrophic shit was fixed, I would not mind if a year after that came out, they came out with Injustice, Ultra, and it had all those new characters, and I paid $30 for it. That would be pretty cool. I could see myself doing that, because there's fucking no way I'm gonna buy Martian Manhunter or like whatever their names are, the newest one, Zon. Or whatever, I'm not gonna buy that shit.
It's funny because you said Zon, right? Did you say Zon?
Yeah, the Superman's bad guy.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the chick, the magician girl. I can't remember
that's
her name.
Zentania or whatever. Yeah.
Zentania?
Yeah.
One of those.
Tasmania?
No, Zentania, dude. Everyone knows all about that.
Zentania. There we go.
Anyway, I mean, I'm not gonna. I might buy Zentania, but it depends on if they have it at Super Arcade. Because if Via already put it on those stupid machines of his, then there's no fucking way I'm buying that. It's just defensive purposes why I would purchase that. While if it was something like you don't have to purchase the character, but you purchase this huge patch and it comes with all the characters, that would be something I could, really get behind. I like the idea, So maybe that's something that developers can look into. Maybe there's like a middle ground, more frequent updates, perhaps 6 months down the line or maybe a year down the line. However, I don't know, whatever. It's just something that people can
just
look
don't
into.
do it the way Cross Tekken did it, where you keep them all on the disc and everyone finds out that you're just going to charge for that later.
Yeah, that might be a bad idea. And they're gonna find it. There's people out there that
They
are
will
crazy.
always find it.
We were watching a Final Fantasy speedrun stream, and this guy was doing a bug to like teleport. Fuck the screen up, right? What he does is, it's gonna be hard to describe, but basically there's 2 rooms, and it's a staircase where you go between them. And if you do this like 28 or 30 or maybe even 60 times, it overloads the RAM of the game, and it bugs out, right? So it starts bugging out, and during this bug out shit, you can actually teleport to the end of the game. But in order to get it to teleport you to the precise location to do the speed run perfectly, you have to adjust the RGB in the game to make the screen yellow to a specific value in order to do this bug correctly to accomplish the speed run. Basically, my point is, people will fucking figure it out. If you hide shit on your game, they're gonna fucking figure it out. Because I just watched some weird shit that someone had to figure out, So don't even try it. Don't even try it, Anyway, you guys got some bitches. Ricksta, you're gonna call my ex-girlfriend Jeanette a bitch, right? So I'll let you go.
She sounds like a lovely lady.
Oh, she is a lovely lady. She sounds like an old lady when you put it that way. she loves crocheting and basket weaving. Anyway, you guys got.
What
bitches?
about the new Soul Calibur game? You want to talk about that or no?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's peculiar. But yeah, we could go over it real quickly. Basically the Lost Swords, I guess is what it's called. Initially, we thought it was going to be a free-to-play fighting game similar to Tekken Resolute, but it turns out that it's going to be a free-to-play single-player fighting game, whatever that means. Perhaps it means some kind of Streets of Rage. Perhaps it's some kind of Soul Calibur fighting game that you can only play against the AI, like, I don't know, Legend
Force for Soul Calibur.
Or like maybe it's the Soul Calibur fighting system or a new fighting system, but it's like Legendary Souls mode, or I don't fucking know what it is, Basically, I don't give a fuck about it, to be honest. If it's not going to be a fighting game in any way, if it's going to be some kind of side-scrolling Tekken Force thing, I don't really give a shit. Of course, I'm still excited about Soul Calibur HD Online, which could be coming out at any moment. I don't know what the fuck the deal is with these release dates. It's like now video games are coming out with no release dates. I thought patches were a problem. Now games are coming out with no release date. What the
Dude,
fuck?
Tekken Resolute, man.
Yeah, boom, you already own it,
Tuesday?
player. It's out. It's out already, dude. It's free. I mean, what the fuck, So, I don't know. What do you guys? What are your thoughts? Do you guys even give a shit about a Soul Calibur Death by Degrees fucking single player game? Who gives a fuck, right?
Scenario campaign, dude.
Yeah. Who cares? Either of you? Do either of you give a shit?
Not anymore.
I don't understand. Like, what's the purpose of the game? If it's free and
They're gonna find a way to milk it out, dude.
Well, okay. I'll
what
tell
else
you.
though? Like, what are they gonna get out of it though? I don't
Well, I
understand.
can see them getting something out of it. So
Purchase weapons, dude.
Okay, here's the thing. Here's what I can envision. Let's say the game is amazingly fun, right? Hypothetically, imagine if it were something very addictive, like, let's say, Diablo, right? Diablo 2, something good, like, I don't know, Puzzles and Dragons, or something very addictive. So if it has very addictive gameplay, and it also features Mitsurugi and Taki and Siegfried and all this shit, perhaps a ton of people will enjoy it. It could be free to play. It could be... So, perfect scenario, it becomes something huge, like Puzzles
Dude,
and
that's
Dragons.
awesome.
Right? It could be something dope like that. And then that would, in the end, promote the next Soul Calibur fighting game. Kind of the way Persona 4 became popular because there were so many Persona fans, and they may not have even liked fighting games. But because it was a Persona game, it bled into all these other genres. So that is a scenario where they could get something from it. But realistically speaking, unless they got someone else to make this game that knows what they're doing, single player from the Namco fighting game development teams has always been a huge fucking turd. It's never good. So I don't know. It's being way too optimistic, in my opinion, to even anticipate something like that happening. But I guess that's what could happen. Your thoughts,
I
Rip?
think that idea was really good. Diablo style game with Soul Calibur characters, and you can purchase different
Why
characters,
the
and
fuck are they not paying me for this
that
shit,
sounds like a
dude?
great idea to me.
Yeah,
Maybe
just
that's what it is.
maybe
Doubt
that
it.
is what it is.
Doubt it, but maybe.
Maybe it is, or something like that, where you can purchase things and whatever skins or characters, and they can make money off of it, and people who like Soul Calibur can be interested, but potentially the like fans of games will become interested. Just fans of games in general. Like, boom, it's free. Try it out. You'll get addicted, and everyone's happy. So I
Yeah,
guess
they're
there's
really pushing free to play at Namco too.
yeah, it's the new shit,
They
man.
have Ridge Racer free to play and also Ace Combat free to play.
That's crazy. It's the future, man. They're starting to try to copy League of Legends, I think. I mean, they're seeing these guys make a shitload of money, so maybe they're not copying them right, but it's the direction they're going in. Anyway, you guys
Yeah.
got bitches?
Do we got bitches?
Yeah.
Of course.
Oh, Rip has
Of
one.
course.
Do you, Ricky?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Rip.
Okay. Go
All
ahead.
right. So my bitch calling today is going to be someone at Namco who I don't know who it is, but it's going to be related to Tekken Revolution,
Mm-hmm.
and I am okay with Tekken Revolution, the gameplay, whatever, right? What really bothers me nowadays though is when I get someone who has like a 1 bar connection, or just say it's even like a 4 bar connection, and then it drops to 1 bar,
Mhm.
and then it stays at 1 bar for like 3 rounds in a row. Like, how am I supposed to justify putting money for that experience? You know what I mean? Like, Namco has talked in the past about how, like, 100 yen in a Japanese arcade is worth that experience for those players. So per
Mhm.
game, 100 yen, yeah, it's not too expensive. It's worth the experience. Tekken Revolution, what is worth? Nothing is worth the experience of a 1 bar connection for an entire match. So I think in those situations, they need to just cancel the match. Give your tickets back to whatever, you know what I mean? If it's a blue coin guy and a ticket guy, whatever, give the ticket guy's thing back. Take away the guy's blue coin, you know what I mean? If both people have tickets, give them both back their tickets. I mean, sure, it's gonna be affected by people doing lag switch and whatever, but at the same time, like, all your actual customers who are spending real money are the ones who are getting really screwed by it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, that guy, whoever decided that 1 bar match throughout the entire game should still take away ticket, that guy's a bitch.
There's no way for that to really happen, though, right? Like, if the latency is really bad, like, let's say it starts at 4 bars, me and you, and then you're
Mhm.
beating me up, and I turn on my gay porn because I'm like, fuck this guy, and then my gay porn's on, and I'm watching Meat Spin, and it
Mhm.
times us both out. What's preventing me from doing that every time?
You could, and I think that's like going to be a minimal number compared to the amount of real players on the system. If they think that 99% of the user base are lag switchers, then they've got a problem.
Yeah,
You know what
but
I mean? Like,
perhaps lag switching, if it were to guarantee you a free escape, like if it were a Final Fantasy where you're like, run, and you could just escape the battle, why would they not do that every fucking time? I mean, let's look at this from a Machiavellian standpoint. They would.
because you play to take their ticket,
Mhm.
right? Otherwise, you play to lose it, or you escape to lose it. So I mean, yeah, some people could do it, but I mean, those probably aren't the people who are paying a lot to play the game anyway.
I don't know. Basically, the point is that Dan told me something interesting last weekend, and I'm gonna fuck it up. But it had something to do with how, like, in some country, like India, they were giving a monetary reward for people killing cobras. So if you bring a cobra snake to whatever the authority was, they'll pay you for the dead carcass, right? So
Dude, Whacking Day is real?
Right, it really is. But here's the interesting thing, right? So they made this law because in this place there was way too many cobras. So what ended up
Okay.
happening is people in this place started breeding cobras so that they could take the cobra heads and make money off of them. So the moral of the story here is that if you put an incentive for some human, they're gonna do it. Like, it's just, you have to not allow that to happen. So if you allow it to happen, it's gonna happen, and that's the stance they should take. So if it's not possible to police it in an accurate way, they just have to let it roll the way it is because technology is not developed far
Well,
enough.
no, I disagree with that. I think if technology isn't developed to that point, then they shouldn't have a game that charges you to play per game online.
Yeah, I agree then. I mean, then perhaps this business model doesn't really match up with today's capabilities of internet connectivity. So, yeah, they're bitches. I agree. I mean, I haven't been playing it that much. I would say that the thing that should make you feel better about it is that it's all online. So, basically, that's part of the deal. A 1 bar connection is a part of the experience of Tekken Resolute. It's literally
Not when I search for 3+ bars, man.
it's part of the experience. You know it's possible. You know
I signed
is.
up for a 3+ bar match with my premium ticket that I paid money for.
Fuck
and
you,
they gave
man.
me a
You
1
didn't
bar
sign
match.
up for shit. As soon as you turn
That's what I
on
did.
No, dude. As soon
Dude,
as
it
you
said it right
push
there, bro.
Listen.
It said it there, dude.
Just
On the
shut
screen,
up
3+.
for a second. If it said if
Make-
you picked ranked, if you turned on your PS3, you know what you're getting yourself into as a smart player. So you know that this is possible. It's possible
Right.
for you to get into this. So you can't say,
And
"Hey,
Namco
I
should
paid
know
for a
that.
4 bar."
Namco should know that.
But
guys
you
are getting
know
way
that
too serious
too.
over a bullshit game to begin with. I don't understand.
I should
It's
know that, and
morons.
Namco should know that. And when they develop a game that's charging like this, they should take the precautions and put these systems in place before charging people per match.
You know what? I mean, I agree with you basically, but the thing is that you can't really call them a bitch for doing that because the
Of
game.
course I can.
Yeah, but the reason is because the game is designed online only. So in order to play it and say you like it, you have to accept everything that's possible within the realm of that game, which includes a match starting at 5 bar and
No.
going to 1 bar. There is no
No.
offline for you to compare it to.
Nope. I'm not even comparing it to offline. I'm saying that, look, the game knows that I have 1 bar. You know why? Because it changes my icon from 4 bars to 1 bar. So you know
Right.
what? The game can keep track of that. It can
Right.
say, look, this thing dropped, and it's consistently 1 bar. So let's take their money. You know, whoop-de-doo. Like, hello, Namco, you can monitor this. This is something you can take care of.
Yeah, but that's like you're going past the statement. The statement at hand is that it's really not fair of you to be grumpy about that
No,
because
it is fair of me. It is fair of me.
interesting.
because-
Perhaps the reason you're really upset is because you've actually paid for tickets. That could have something to do with it. I've
right.
never
I mean,
I've never
that's the thing.
bought
Like,
tickets
if
yet.
I'd never paid for a ticket,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
Then I'm like, well, this is retarded, you know, and I would just stop playing it, you know. But the fact that like I paid for like $5, it wasn't even a lot, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm about to run out.
Hey,
I got, like,
money's
10 more,
money.
8 more.
And money's money.
Exactly, and that's the thing. Like now I've lost 2 tickets in this way, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, that's twice now that this has happened to me, and it's real money that's going away that I would not have lost,
Yeah.
you know, except for this guy doing this to me, and this system screwing me over for no reason.
Man, it sounds like you're really being terrorized, dude.
Yeah, you're just getting hustled online.
Yeah,
dude.
hustled big time, dude, by the
By
meat
Namco.
spinners nonstop.
By
Uh,
Namco.
Well, anyway, maybe
Those other guys aren't getting money for it. Namco is.
aren't they getting your ticket?
No, the other guys don't get the ticket. They just get their own ticket back.
That's a ticket. That's an incentive. I mean, you know, honestly, if I were a dick and I didn't have anything to do, I would do that shit all day. Like, especially if I didn't like Tekken or if I didn't even like fighting games, I would just look at flowers and put on Tekken Resolute and then like first round is 5 bars and then boom, just fuck
No,
with
that's
them.
a good idea. I think
Yeah.
I may have to. I think I may do this from now on.
Why not? You could. I mean,
That
you,
may be my entire stream. I'm
Oh,
just gonna stream and take people's tickets. by
a
live
new
switching them to them.
bogus journeys. The reason you did bogus journeys
It's not
last
bogus
time.
for me. It's bogus for them.
Yeah, exactly. You know, last time it was because you were frustrated about how shitty Tekken 6 online was, right? So, you know, send my check in the mail. I'm a genius. This is 2 brilliant ideas I've had during this show. Anyway, probably many more. I don't recall. I'll have to ask Ricky to remind me. Do you have a bitch calling, Ricky? You had a lot of time to think.
Well, you two are bitches for even arguing over Tekken Revolution to begin with. That was the dumbest argument I've heard in
Why?
a
I think
long
it's an
time.
interesting topic. What's wrong with
Who
that argument?
cares?
It's you know what? It's over your head in more ways than one, amigo.
Damn.
Yeah, whatever.
All right. So, do you have any fucking bitch callings?
I guess it's not really a bitch calling. It's more of a bitch prevention or don't be a bitch. But to all the East Coast players that are gonna go to the Fall Classic or the ones that are thinking about going
Right.
on, but don't know if they're gonna go or not, they need to go because they obviously didn't support Tekken at Evo that much. I mean, we still got
Sure.
300 plus at Evo. The Fall Classic, I think, got a little less than 100. So, I mean, these guys left, didn't support Evo for that. So, I mean, if you're not going to support one tournament, you got to support the other, obviously. So you guys need to show up and, make Tekken known, and make Tekken have a presence at the Fall Classic. Because if you don't, then what is it for? For the whole pop bonus and things, like it's for nothing really. So don't be a bitch and go to Fall Classic and support it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if you were doing all that fucking shit talking about Evo and all this jibber jabber and dilly dallying about wireless controllers, then you better go to the one that you were saying is way better than Evo, and this is why I'm not going to Evo. So fuck you. I agree. If you don't support that tournament and you live in that neighborhood, you're a bitch for sure. My bitch calling is something interesting. So yesterday I was watching Cody Vu. He came to SoCal. He entered Wednesday Night Fights. I didn't get to play him, but I watched him kick the shit out of a lot of players, right? And the person that I'm going to call a bitch is whoever is responsible for not allowing the United States to have freely purchasable arcade boards at a reasonable price without Tekken Net. Just the board that you could throw inside a cabinet, maybe a Tekken 6 cabinet, because I'm sitting back commentating these matches and watching these matches, and I'm thinking the reason SoCal fucking sucks at Tekken is because none of us like each other, and we don't want to go to each other's houses. If we had an arcade machine, we would all be so much better. These are the same players that I've watched do these things much more effectively in the past. And they're out of practice because we're over here with Just Frame James playing against Sonkin and SoCal Rectium all the time. And then we got like random sessions with people, that are just hooking up randomly. There isn't a group exposure to the game. Nobody's really helping each other get better. And I don't even really want to, because it involves going to people's houses and sucking on each other's dicks the whole time. And you know how I feel about that. Not a fan.
Love it.
I love it. But yeah, I don't like going to people's fucking living rooms, So my big bitch calling is whoever was responsible for not allowing that, because it literally has catastrophically damaged the SoCal scene. And I can clearly see it, and I can see it in everyone, in players like yourself, Rip, Rixta, myself, MYK, just all of the players that were at least very solid in previous games. It just feels like they don't have the capability now because they're resorting to online and stuff. It's a tragedy, and I don't love it. So that guy's a bitch. Whoever made it like not possible for us to get aboard. That's my bitch calling.
Oh, let me one more.
Yeah,
Chet
go ahead.
Chetty. Chet Chetty is a bitch, not just because he did that stretch that was
Oh yeah,
on stream.
that
That
was
was the
hilarious.
Commando
pretty
right
good.
after that banned.
Ban that shit immediately.
No, the thing is that Chet was playing decently against Cody, and he just seemed to drop crucial punishes and things like that. And so, it's not me, like, there's no hate involved. It's like I want to see Chet play better because, when Chet's on top of his game, he's one of the best players in SoCal. So
Yeah, but he can't be
Chet,
on top of his game because he's in jail.
well, stop being a bitch.
Damn, that's the. I guess
Dick
so.
Rick.
Yeah, you know
Or
what?
Dick Rick.
Stop being a bitch, Chet. Get out of jail. Shawshank Redemption your way out of there, and let's see some high tier death fisting.
I thought Chet was gonna beat Cody, to be honest, and so I was kind of disappointed to see that. But
It was
Cody,
clear. Yeah, it was clear to me that Cody was more advanced than any of the players
yeah,
there.
for sure.
He knew
So
what he was
good job,
doing.
Cody.
Yeah, good job. Anyway, so yeah, you got anything to plug, Rip? You got your emoticons going or some shit?
Yes, emoticons are live. I
Excellent.
am in the process of getting more.
Hey, are you able to see them?
No, I can't type them, so I think I have to subscribe to myself.
I asked them and they gave me a free subscription to myself.
What?
Yeah, so I told the
Okay.
guy like, "Hey, something's wrong. I can't use my emoticons." And he was like, "Oh, well, yeah, you have to be subscribed. Here, I gave you like your own self sub or some shit. So now I can use them, except I can't use them." So someone suggested that I do some kind of cookie refreshing or some shit in my browser because I tried it on Internet Explosion and it works. But it
Did you just
doesn't
call
work.
it internet
Yeah,
explosion?
but it doesn't work on
Jesus.
Google Chrome, you know, so maybe it has something to do with that. But
Well, it
Okay,
was
that's
weird.
the problem.
When I was in your channel
Mhm.
and you typed it out, and in my chat I could see the icon, but when I can see your chat on your stream and it doesn't show.
Well, you're
So
looking at it right now. I mean, the chat is in the window right here, right? But all these people that are using the, emoticons, it's not coming up for me. So I can't see
it's coming
them.
up for me.
Exactly. So right now, if
Damn,
you
that
watch this
sucks.
upload on YouTube later, you're not going to see any of the emoticons because some kind of cookie refreshing bullshit has to happen that I don't know anything about. So I'll have to Google it, I guess.
Cookie
But,
cookie explosions.
yeah, fucking
Sounds like I would eat it.
yeah, So anyway, I've got anything to plug? Rickstay, you've been streaming. I heard. I haven't watched yet, and I probably won't. But plug your shit.
Good. Thank you. Follow me, Rick Steezy. I'll stream sometime. Whatever.
He's finally
Fuck
a
you.
man of his whatever. Fuck you. I like it. I like your advertising strats. They're almost as good as mine. Rip, you got your stream, level up your game, and all that. Anything new coming out?
Yep. Nothing new. Waiting on Injustice to come out.
Hey, did you ever do the thing with James and Yoshi? Because you know what's funny? People have stopped attempting to tell you to do shit, and now they've started telling me. Like, hey, Eris, tell Rip to do this shit already. Like, what the fuck am I? What the fuck?
Dude, talk to James, man. Somebody talk to James. He's the one who says he wants to do it repeatedly and hasn't followed up again.
Yeah, well, anyway, who gives a fuck? All right, Internet, whatever. Take it easy, players. Hey, Ricky.